What's up? I'm Troy Sandidge, an award-winning podcaster with over 1 million downloads, a consultant who has helped brands generate $175 million, and a speaker at over 600 events. Sounds impressive, right? But here's the thing. Behind the scenes, I struggle to manage it all. I've created over 120 podcast episodes. Now think about all the content you created. Blogs, videos, newsletters. Imagine the opportunities we're all missing because we're not repurposing and monetizing our best work. Frustrating, isn't it? A good friend of mine put me on Get Response's content monetization plan. It's got everything you need to turn your knowledge into reoccurring revenue without the hassle of juggling multiple platforms. From email marketing to course creation, it's all under one roof. Let me show you how it works. Here are the 3 game-changing features that are working for me. AI-powered course creation. Quickly turn your expertise into valuable courses. You'll literally be earning while you sleep. Night-night. Paid newsletters. Add value for your audience and start generating consistent income. Creator profile, a dedicated space for all of your premium content that you can share with your audience. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Get Response also has all the tools you need to grow and nurture your email list seamlessly. It's time to stop leaving money on the table. Creatives, podcasters, entrepreneurs, let's make 2025 your most profitable year yet. Start today with Get Response. Optimize and grow. Tia. You tell us what to do. You tell us how to feel. You tell us where to go. You tell us what to think. You tell us who to talk to. You tell us when to move. You tell us why it matters. The who, what, when, where, why, and how of thought leadership, right? Nah, that's where many of us get it wrong. That's where many people, many executives, many creatives, many business leaders who want to expand their thought leadership, their brand positioning, whether personal or business, online, no matter the medium, whether it's podcasting, video, whatever the case might be. Many create content to create the perception of being a thought leader to an ICP or community marketplace. And so they dive headfirst into telling. But it's not about the telling us the WWWWH, the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Instead of telling people, ask us, invite us, show us, guide us, educate us, pour into us, spotlight us, challenge us, share with us, create with us, engage with us, demonstrate to us. But don't tell us. Don't fall into the trap of simply broadcasting. Enable the art of continuously conversating. You don't just claim being a thought leader. And by the way, I can't stand the word thought leader in the first place, but I digress. You don't just claim being a TL. The community deems you worthy of bestowing on you thought leadership. Without community, influence does not exist. Every single person you see as top dog in your space, in your industry, topic of choice, or preferred content of choice didn't just plant a flag and people gathered immediately. If you build it, they will come. Again, one of the biggest lies ever told in business, but I digress. A community was built around what a person shared that was found valuable over time, where it brought forth acknowledgement, recognition, and further demand. Then, as the value was consistent, advocates came from that, emerged to then tell others about it. And the cycle continued to a point where now the value, the influence, and the insights are so strong, monetary exchange entered the chat directly or indirectly because of it. Again, coming on here thinking if you build it, they will come, and just tell on all you have to do all the time gets you nowhere. You're just making a lot of noise, but never any music anyone wants to hear. Influence is earned, not bought. Community is built, not fabricated. Engagement takes genuine consistency, not pods. But I digress. Impact takes real effort, not set it and forget it mentality. And you need a real strategy, not just some outdated tactics everyone still lives by because one person posted about it that got a lot of engagement one time and said, this is the way. So TLDR, stop broadcasting, start conversating. It takes a lot to grow your business. A lot of audience attracting, a lot of lead scoring, a lot of channel managing, plus a lot of long days, a lot of late nights, and a lot of weekends. And a lot of wishing there was an easier way to do all of this. But with Breeze, HubSpot's new collection of AI tools, it's easier than ever for marketers to attract audiences, increase leads, and score customers fast. Which only means one thing. Pretty soon, your company will have a lot to celebrate. Visit HubSpot.com/marketers to learn more today. Believe it or not, some people still do not know that TikTok was ever down. I mean, it did the whole went bye-bye and rose from the dead 12 hours later on a Sunday. And low key, I'm kind of glad I waited to do this episode because so much happened in the last week. There's too many changes. It would have been outdated immediately. This brings me to a pause. I think sometimes we forget our feeds are curated by what we engage with, who we engage with, and where we spend most of our time. We can be social media managers, specialists, creators, marketers, business leaders, et cetera, who follow others in the industry and talk about things all day long and think it's the same level of importance and relevance to everyone else because it's all over our feeds. Yes, there's content and information that penetrates all feeds, but in many cases, it's not necessarily true for all. I was literally talking to someone who did not know anything that had transpired with TikTok. They was on TikTok a few days prior. They went back to TikTok a few days later. Had no idea what had transpired. Oh, it was down. Oh, people are making their goodbye videos. Oh, it's over. It's gone forever. Oh, I'm going to lose so much money. I lose so much opportunity. Freedom of speech is gone. All this stuff is happening. And then here we are. And in talking with this person, it was honestly quite refreshing that they didn't know all the noise. They were just living their life, which makes me to think we are so quick to react nowadays instead of leaning into the stillness of patience and waiting things out sometimes. Whether you want to blame it on Amazon Prime, today's shipping, or the always on immediate gratification response culture that we've developed nowadays, but there is a strategy in doing absolutely nothing sometimes. Like, let's pause, let's observe and see what actually happens. We don't have to always be the first one out the gate. No, the first to tell our thoughts, the first to tell you what to do next, the first to make declarations and sudden changes. Honestly, sometimes it's okay to be chill, to be a chill human, to be a chill business, and just wait to see what is really happening versus immediately reacting to what's happening. Let this be a reminder to you that stillness is a valid course of action.
What's up, digital world? You're listening to the I Digress audio experience with Troy Sandidge. Social media, marketing, storytelling, business, culture, and more. Coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
And so with being still and observing, well, Troy, what have you observed in the last 7 to 10 days? For starters, holy cow, social media in its current iteration and one micro ripple can just make things go bananas. It's too temperamental. And the question becomes, are you going to be a sheep or a wolf when it comes to how you navigate and tread the digital marketing waters when it comes to your branding, your business? Well, Troy, what do you mean by that? Ooh, spicy. What I mean by it, with all due respect, it's understanding the line at which I need to care and value about what's happening in regards to my business, my customers, my clients, my community from a business perspective, vice versa for me and maybe as a personal perspective, and what I need to just let it lay. One of the things I have learned in all of my years in communications and comms, PR marketing, working a ton of different verticals, is that a lot of people say it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. I want to add on to that. In some cases, it's not about what you say, it's not even how you say it, it's not even when you say it sometimes. It's the why. The why dictates the immediacy or lack thereof to determine the when. The win from that can help you figure out, okay, how fast do I need to send this out to market or how delayed do I need to send it out to market determines maybe the fashion of what the how needs to look like and what the what is. But most people focus on the what first, rightfully so, it makes sense, right? You need to have the bones, the foundation of it to materialize anything, but they miss on the other three things. When you can communicate the why do I need to say something right now? Instead of me going right into what, why? Why do I feel compelled to make a statement about TikTok because everyone else is making a statement about TikTok right now? I need to jump on this trend. I need to jump on this while it's hot, like I talked about earlier. Oh, I got to be the first one out the door. I have to be the first one out the gate. In retrospective, you may not be the first one out of anything, and then you just look like a sheep. Oh, because everyone's talking about, I'm going to talk about it. Now, yeah, you could have a strong enough community that when you talk about it, people care in that micro community and see what happens, right? But I think that helps you reframe your why. If this is going to be critical information to my community, then to me, it justifies that I should talk about it. Then I determine the what, the where, and the how because I defined the why. It's kind of like, ooh, something happened in sports. Yeah, I'm gonna hear a lot of people talk about it, but I wanna hear what Stephen A has to say about it. Every time the Dallas Cowboys lose, I wanna hear what Stephen A has to say about it just because I look forward to it. No shade to my Dallas Cowboy listeners, just keeping it real as an example. So in this case, though, maybe everyone else may be talking about it because I have an alignment with that community with Stephen A. I wanna hear his perspective, so that makes sense. On the flip side, something was happening and this really doesn't align with my audience. It won't really matter to them necessarily. And maybe I don't know too much about it. And maybe that's too far of a reach for me to try to add any 2 cents to it. Maybe I won't do it right now until I get more information. For those who react too quickly about TikTok is over and then immediately start telling people, this is why you should have done this is why you should have done that, and blah, 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 blah. And now TikTok is back. Well, what do you think the community thought of them? How do you think you looked in the last 48 hours of that whole debacle? It's on, it's off, now it's back on. Because we were too quick to respond or too quick to react and maybe just seeing what's going to happen, right? There's strategy and patience. There's strategy and stillness. I think a lot of executive leaders could learn a lot from that. I was just with a client and they were talking about how they do a lot of executive leadership coaching and how the people they were talking to, they're trying to, either get promoted or start their own thing. And they're an executive leader, they're in a leadership role themselves. And so they come to this person, he helps guides them on how to prep for the position, prep for the pivot, or prep for the empowerment. Ooh, that sounds like a good tagline. If you're listening, you should totally use that. Give me credit for it. As a marketer, I just dropped you a slogan. But I digress. I think what they were articulating with some of the demands is you get a small win and they want this and this after that. They want this, they want that, they want that. And it's like, slow down. We need patience. We need time. I can't just materialize this to be so in some grand gesture that's going to move mountains immediately. The demand to expect a marketing campaign in 48 hours to give you astronomical results is redundant and ridiculous. And yet, marketers today are still dealing with that 90% of the time. I guarantee you there are businesses that are literally saying, hey, since TikTok is down, download all of our files, repost them somewhere else, Or, hey, we got Blue Sky, we got Threads. Maybe we need to get back on double down on Twitter because we're predicting people are going to come back to Twitter. Let's double down on our YouTube expansion strategy and go nuts. And so I need you to stop all the planning you did for Q1 and going into Q2. Recalibrate to a whole new platform with different algorithm rules, different content style rules and cadences for an audience that hasn't even been conditioned or doesn't even exist on that platform to get me the results that you were going to get me there, but now here in half the time. And if I don't see X amount of results that I believe we should have, even though I don't have any experience in what you're doing on the front lines by this date, then I'm going to reduce your funding or cut it all together. Or maybe you didn't even have any funding to agree with in the first place. And I'm going to say that you failed and I'm going to replace you with someone else to do it. And you're like, what in the universe? What are you talking about? But that's a real thing that real marketers, comms, all creatives, all in that wider ecosystem have to deal with. But it's not just marketers. You deal with other areas, but right now I'm focusing on the marketers. We're screaming. We already have enough social media marketers, social media managers. You have to be a copywriter, a designer, a video editor, a photographer, a videographer, a photo editor. You have to be great on talent, an audio expert, a live streaming expert, speech writer. Then you gotta be a visual effects person. Then you're on call 24/7. And people telling you, oh, just post this little post content out. I've watched executives literally have anxiety attacks over trying to decide simply the copy, let alone the hashtags, let alone the edit for the video. What's the hook? When should I post it? What should the music track be? They don't even know where to start. They have anxiety attacks. And they expect people and they think this is normal, like people can just do it. Or for the love of goodness gracious, at this point in where we're at now with social media selling and social media marketing as a whole, with 5 going on 6 generations now entering some type of workforce, or at least in some way, shape, or form, consumption that could be of value as a customer value stream, to think, oh, just get someone younger to do it. And just here, we expect you to do the job of 20 jobs in one person for a fifth of the cost of what it should be paid for in the first place, with no team, maybe no tools, and no budget. And then everyone has an opinion on it and then won't let you do it, won't have the patience to see it go through, criticize you through and through, and then drop you and replace you with someone else and go through the whole cycle over again and wondering, why is my marketing not effective? Because you don't know how to sit in the stillness, executive. You don't know how to be patient, executive. You don't know how to pay to play and invest in real talent, giving people real time and budget to build. It's not about just building. Because if you build it, they will come is a lie. You have to build and hunt. You have to build and articulate and market and position and attract. What do I say? Attract and amplify to activate? Yeah. You got to do that. It's part of my leads blueprint strategy. Go to strategizupbook.com, buy the book, and you'll have all the details you want. Or just go to previous episodes of I Digress, go to idigress.fm, search leads, and it'll be a few episodes for you to digest all of that information for free. So feel free to do with that whatever you will. Content is profit. Hosted by Luis and Fonzie Cameo, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Discover the secrets and strategies on how your business can achieve the frictionless sale. They talk about frameworks, they talk about strategies, they talk about tactics, and they bring on special guests to bring you all the information you need in order to turn your content into profit. Ooh, that sounds like an ideal podcast for my audiences to listen to today. You'll hear from top entrepreneurs, creators, and anything and everything you need to know about content. All this while having a great time, being entertained, educated, and empowered. From Red Bull to Chet Holmes International to Orange Theory Fitness to Jacksonville Wealth Builders and so much more, you will finally discover how to bridge the gap between your content and your revenue. Listen to Content is Profit wherever you get your podcasts. But we have to learn patience. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. With patience. Let's add that in there. With patience. Everybody wants to grow, but most times we're too trigger happy to not sit in the stillness for the growth to happen. If every time someone planted an oak tree, they dig it up after a couple of months because it's not an oak tree, you're never going to get an oak tree. And in case you're wondering, because, we got to Google this. In the first year, oak trees focus on growing their roots. In the first 10 to 15 years, oak trees grow the fastest during this time. After 30 to 40 years, most oak trees are mature and produce their own acorns to then create new trees again. And as we all know, oak trees can live for hundreds and hundreds of years. But as oak trees age, their growth slows down. So what can we learn from that? We all quote the mighty oak. Well, something as mighty as an oak take time to build. Here's the thing. When it comes to go-to marketing and people are trying to be quick to market, yeah, you could be quick to market, but you may not last long. Here's the question. Do you want to be a one-hit wonder that nobody remembers anything else of you but that one song, but that one time that did really well, and we don't even know why it did viral. We don't even know why it took over the country. We don't even know why it hit the top of the charts. It was just the vibe of that time. And then we never hear or see from this person ever again. Where are they now? Hey, insert name, insert business. Where are they now? Do you want to be that category? Because you went to market so fast without a full plan because you like, I need to capitalize on this moment. And if that's what you need to do, if that's what you want to do, is tap into get a quick buck and not a long buck, not a sustainable buck, by all means. But if you want to enter the market with a high chance of sustaining yourself and growing and expanding and scaling, then you need to embrace the stillness and not be so quick. There's a reason. I get it, and I understand. There's a divide in social right now where, hey, do I choose to be on platforms that doesn't align with my moral compass or the mission and goals and guidelines and principles and value props of me as a business, even though maybe my consumers and customers are still on these platforms or we're still making money from these platforms to make a stand. Now, how big is a stand? Is it significant enough that people would notice and then take action? Or is it make a cute headline for a week and now you just put your business in jeopardy to make that social stand that, oh, now I'm out of business. So the impact I was making, I can't because I'm not making any money anymore. And I get it. When you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, you can make more linear decisions that may not consequently impact you as much. But when you have teams that are bigger with, tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people, the weight of the decisions that you make impacts more people. And so we have to consider that decision a few layers out than just, ooh, how I feel. It's knowing how to navigate your emotions in a way that makes the best decisions for the best results. Do I make a bigger impact staying in business and saying 15% of my revenue goes back into paying for me to now help people who can't afford my services, to help other businesses grow or help other businesses, do better marketing, scale, start the process, all those things, and you're making a wider impact than me making a stance that may get me a good audible celebration for a limited amount of time, but sets me back because I didn't have contingencies and I didn't build other platforms up to help me make the money because I cut off the one platform that was making me money because of a social stance, because of things I didn't agree with. Well, you can say you don't agree with things with maybe the government, or you don't agree with things with how certain things are run in business infrastructure, or how certain platforms are increasing their percentage rates of what they take. If you're using, pay systems or tools that you use, they're going to go up. You may not agree with Netflix increasing their price again during this time. You may not agree with certain things with insurance right now, and yet there's always going to be something you don't agree with that you're going to eventually have to pay for anyway, or that you're still paying for because you need the utility, and the utility of it outweighs the increase in price and outweighs other things that I can't make a social stance right now because I don't have a replacement for that tool or that thing. And so we have to navigate these things, balancing how we feel emotionally with how we need to do things from a logical, operational perspective. So, all of that being said, comes back to why are we doing the things that we do, or why are we not doing the things that we're doing? Either case needs to be justifiable. A lack of action or all action is still action, needs to be justified. Does it make sense to the overarching value that we're trying to convey as a person, as a business, all these things? I'm not trying to go heavy psychological right now with anyone here listening. What I am trying to do is create a cadence for you to consider before I take an action. Do I understand the why behind the action? Then go into my how, my what, my where, my who, my when. If I don't know the why, though, it's going to set me back. Or I need to consider all the other variables. Yes, there is a time where you got to think fast and move faster. But if you're always on that gear, you're going to burn out. You're going to miss some things, and it's going to cause you to have problems. You have to adjust and pivot and know how to navigate that accordingly. The other reality in all of this is, consider this one thing. Sometimes when it comes to strategically moving and shaking in the marketing world, because that's where I'm from, I'm going to speak to this industry, this vein, this vector right now. There's so many things progressing. AI is like moving at 10x speed right now. You're gonna have people say, if you're not tapping into AI agents, you're missing out. Oh, your job is gonna be replaced by the end of the year. Here's the thing: a lot of things can be true at the same time. New things could be taking over while simultaneously, air quotes, old things are still making things work, are still moving the needle. There is a transfer of energy. There is a transfer of the guard. And in this window, who's to say this window is going to be a month or is it going to be the next 10 years? We do need to move in an efficient way. But your fast may be different than my fast, may be different than your competitor's fast. If you're watching competitors move fast and embracing AI integrations through the roof, does your business have the capacity to A, learn, install, customize, and integrate to then elevate within a certain window of time that's going to make you more money? If it's going to cost me more time to install all of these things when I'm not in a situation to have that time diverted right now, just to save time, that may not even come to fruition until the end of the year, probably not the wisest move. How can I strategically integrate this in a way that feels in flow to what I'm already doing than to straight up cut it off cold turkey and just embrace this new lifestyle, this new way? Same thing when people want to just say, hey, let's just do a new platform and I expect results by tomorrow. So we're going to try the same content strategy that we built on Instagram and just apply it to TikTok or vice versa. And think it's going to work. The algo's different. Everything's different. Maybe we don't have the same community, the same cadence. Maybe we got to post more. Maybe we got to post less. Maybe we got to try something altogether different. But we do know for a fact is that people want to resonate with who they see. We can't hide behind the brands and the logos no more. This is why a lot of brands are tapping into influencer marketing at the micro level. And by micro, I mean the lower influencers, not lower by standard, but lower by they're not celebrities. But they have so much influence of their micro communities and their subsets that that's more valuable than to get a celebrity that everyone knows that no one buys from. Ooh, that day is kind of ending, is transitioning. Or now we have the founders who tell their stories, they get cemented, they get locked in, and as they grow, the community grows and they keep supporting and advocates and building brand. And then here we are. I had someone the other day reference Gary Vaynerchuk, and for me, I had to realize, well, Gary Vaynerchuk has been in the game for a long time. But to them, it was the first time Seeing them, they was like, "Yo," they was talking about Gary Vee like we back, 10 years ago. Gary Vee, like, "Wow, he's the guy." And I had to catch myself as we're doing things and transition into higher levels of content and media, and you're growing your business and stuff. There's always a big window of people who've never heard you, don't even know who you are, don't even know you exist. They are meeting you, experiencing you, seeing you for the first time. And oh my goodness, am I making a good impression? Am I giving them the same energy as I would when I first really did get started? Or do I approach it like, hey, I'm here. That's what I do. Like, you should know me. No, I shouldn't. I'm learning you. What a great opportunity for me to see you and what you're doing. And I think sometimes when it comes to business, they so focus on chasing the new, they forget about those who they already have. Or they speak too much to who they already have, and they forget there's a lot of new people coming in too. And I had to do a pause. And I said, wow. And we have to understand that content can be evergreen. We think because it's been in existence for X amount of years that everyone just knows it and sees it and they made their decisions and their resolves around it. No. Which makes me pause and sit in the stillness of sometimes we don't have to create all of our content from scratch new all the time. We should be able to repurpose and recalibrate content that we know does really well consistently and see that pulse be greater and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So, what are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that? It causes me to question a lot of things in the stillness. But when's the last time you ever took the time to just sit in the stillness of what you're trying to do? Sometimes momentum is generated faster by sitting in the stillness and troubleshooting and identifying what is and isn't working. What good is it to move in a lot of different directions and you're going nowhere versus sitting down figuring out, I tried this, I tried that, there's nothing happening over here. But that part over there, that little light, little sparkle, that might be the way to go. Hmm, I should embrace that. I should do something with that. So I'm challenging you to consider these things. And the last thing I'll say, how's that vision board going? Are you still excited about your goals and your dreams and what you want to achieve this year? As we're coming to the end of January, how many of those visions do you think will actually become a reality? Has anything changed or happened since declaring everything? And if I could be real with you, creating a vision board is only half the equation. The real reason many fall short, it isn't motivation, it isn't the manifestation, it's the literal lack of action. Yes, vision boards inspire us, they give us clarity, they motivate us, even help us manifest what we want. But what's missing? An action board, or what I like to call a strategy board. How will you bring those visions to life? What's the plan to fund your personal and professional goals? What tasks, what timelines, and what tactics are necessary to move the needle? Think of it this way: a vision board is like planting seeds in the soil. But if you don't water, feed, nurture, and protect those seeds, they'll never grow into the fruit you want. Think of the big oak. A strategy board takes it further. It gives you the roadmap with defined tasks, milestones, and deadlines to check progress, clarity on the teams, the tools, and the resources needed to make it all happen. There's a reason a 3D model of a building isn't enough. You still need the blueprints, the budgets, the permits, and all the teams to bring it to life. This year, don't stop at vision. If you're stuck wondering what to do next or complaining about nothing is happening now, after getting all hyped up, defining everything, declaring it to everybody, telling everybody, it's time to go beyond the vision and take it to the next level by building out the strategy to make it real. And if you're not sure how to connect the dots or take action, that's where strategic advisors come in handy. So just so you know, just so you're aware, I am accepting new clients. So if you're ready to turn your vision into something tangible, let's make it happen. Literally. Let's not create the vision and then not see the vision to fruition. So I challenge you, if you're stuck, don't know where to go, don't know what to do next, are you ready to make that investment? Here to help you. With that being said, embrace the stillness. Be a little more patient. Have a little more poise. And give your marketers a little more love and grace, please. Signed and stated, every marketer, everywhere.
And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Digress. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Troy on social media? You can find him on all platforms at Find Troy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you're listening. Looking for a marketing strategist to build the structure, strategies, and systems you need to get the success you want and the ROI you desire in your business? Book a discovery call to talk with Troy at findtroy.com. And as Troy's philosophy goes, imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, marketing is the roadmap, sales is the destination, culture is the GPS. Thanks for listening.